Yo, yo, how we doing? Just gonna let some people filter in here. I'll finish reading up on my chat logs, and then I will hop right in. Q, El Jefe, welcome back, team. How we doing? How we doing? You saw the DM I sent you on X? I don't believe so. Let me check. Gotcha. I see it now. Thank you, Q. Thank you, sir. I will check that out. Doing good finally. Caught you live this week. There we go. Top 4 watches into tomorrow. Okay, we'll get into that. We'll get into Q's names. GNPX failed follow through. And DJT small for me today. Nice. Both plans from the watch list last night, and El Jefe nailed them both. Nice work. Let me just finish up here. I'm reading through the IU logs, and I will get to my stuff. Q shorted DJT and Speeple today. Nice. Speeple I still have on watch into tomorrow. That one's kind of interesting. Scenario it's got. Fun has earnings tomorrow. Alrighty, so yeah, we'll go in through my trade view plans, touch on stuff from your guys' chat here, and then we'll head on out. Same kind of process as usual. DJT, nice winner there for me today. Yeah, this one's funny. I hit it through lows. Just it was so close to going red. I was like, if this goes red, we're gonna get one of those just plunge candles. So I just put on chase size, and it didn't break, so I covered it right away. But I put some on. We got a nice little pop into the open right before market open, and that candle there, I'm risking super wide. Like it could go 50, 54. I didn't really have a risk level in mind. Um, Given the review we've done on these things as of late, is with these short trades, I've been getting short, getting on the right side, and moving my stop down a bit prematurely. So knowing the magnitude of the DJT setup coming into today, I didn't want to ruin it. So I put small on and risked versus pre-market highs up in the mid 50s. And then once we got this hard crack, lower high, this easily could have kept going and broke through high a day. I would have liked to add on a move through high a day and then be able to risk the highs. But at this point, I moved my risk down to like 48 range over under. So I was still giving high a day a bit of room. And we got a nice $10 flush that I covered it all. Once we got the gap and halt down, it opened up and bounced, so I moved on. We got this little kind of flag breakdown here through the 3720s. So I had rescaled up around a core, and I was all out by here. Looking for a bit of a rollover, covered immediately, same kind of thing. But that was the meat of the move on a trade like that. Any sort of gap or shove tomorrow, I'm still interested in leaning this thing for lower. The thesis is gone on this thing for going higher. This is likely a couple buck a day type fade, quiet backside fader. Now that we got that parabolic, hard crack, lower high, and if this starts to take out 29, then I think backside is in, and you get a steady fade the same way I did the steady grind on the front side. Fun, I had joined as well. Sympathy with DJT. I had put some on here in pre-market. It flushed, and I was kind of emotionally covered there. My short was with 840s in mind. And I just didn't want to get in trouble. Again, same kind of thing. Going into the open, I knew the magnitude of the setup that was here. I had been waiting for 840 pops forever, and I didn't know if it was going to try and exhaust out of that into the open, so I emotionally covered with kind of the fear of getting squeezed. But once I got the DJT flush, I had put some on in sympathy with it. We got that hard crack, lower high, same kind of thing. Scale, cover lows, rescale through lows, and cover, and I was all done by there. And then rum was the other sympathy trade with the shove into market open with DJT. I shorted it, covered, shorted, covered, and then had a small third left. And I had moved on there. It just was kind of chopping around, and the spread started getting a bit wide in that 5 to 7 cent range, so I was not looking to marry the trade. Wasn't really a daily chart setup as well. Something like Fun and DJT, you still got range on the daily. This one, I was looking for like 590s, but the daily chart, like it was just straight sympathy to DJT. There wasn't any chart pattern to it. So DATS, for any of you day one gap and crappers, this was a sympathy to DJT as well. So if you like shorting those 100% movers, then this is a nice opportunity there for you. But all in all, I think DJT was the A+. I saw Ducks made $2.5 million on that today. Absolutely insane. GNPX, I covered the swing here midday from mobile. I just brought my computer with me today, knowing that this one was fading off and under 180s. So you saw my position. Was it this day or this day? I don't remember. I think it... Let me look. Must have been yesterday. Up here in the twos. Nope, it was this day. I put a starter on versus the two teens. Once we got that hard crack lower high sub 2, I added. And then today we are sub 180s, so I added. And then we got back down to this 150 line that I had drawn from the front side of the move. So I covered into that. A great failed fall through daily chart setup. And really happy with the way that I scaled into that trade and moved in, moved out, and moved on. Dux is wild. I'm assuming he shorted pre-market parabolic. Yeah, he said in his tweet that he was up really early. I typed Dux. DJT. That's funny. He said he was up really early, so he definitely would have shorted here. He was guaranteed he was involved in all of this. There would have been a lot of candles on that chart for him to get the amount of size that he would have needed to make 2.5 mil. He would have had to be in there all morning. VSTE had a little bounce attempt today, so we got that gap down I was looking for right here. No idea why, but it got smoked down to the 150s. If this was gapping down and then get a flush to 150s off the open, that would be a plus opportunity for me. But given that it ground, I don't know. Don't correct me. Given the way it grinded back all the way into market open, I wasn't super interested. And then once market open, there was just zero volume, zero liquidity. So yes, you do get that $1 a share move, but it didn't go green, and it retraced the entire thing. 270 looking left, prior resistance breakout level. So I like any dips back into this 2 to 270 anywhere in there like this. Obviously, we've got this big volume profile here at 2. And so anywhere between this range, if it sets a low a day tomorrow, I like weak opens and join that trend for a shove back to the mid force. I would still like the opportunity there. GSAT, grinding higher. Speedpole, I was going to touch on this one. Q said he had a trade on that one today. His plan on it was a short trade, but I was not super interested in it given where it was at on its intradaily. So you got this big volume day, and where is most of the volume? Is right over here, 1 and under. And where is it consolidating? Over. So all of these shorts are underwater. Anybody who scaled in this day, still underwater here. So if I can get a prior day's high break and some sort of trend through something like this, break of the 160s and daily chart breakout up here in the 180s, I think this is a potential long play for me. If this just slowly and illiquidly just fizzle out, then I'd be waiting for a backside bounce. But this is not something I would look to short at this stage. I would be looking for a little T+1 type setup or a quiet fader and then backside bounce. But I do think this has squeeze potential given how it's kept shorts involved in there over the last few days. ENSC came back with a vengeance here after hours. I imagine there was a PR. I didn't read into it too much. But that 80 cent level was the key for the last little while. Kind of similar to SGMO, where you've got this 120 and now it's gapping up into it. So it might be something, I might be able to go into that day, because I had played it on that day and I gave back the entire gain. So right here, we get the weak open flush, and I was buying it through 120s with risk on low a day, risk in 5 cents. Get a nice move up to the 140s, a 3 to 4 to 1 move, given how tight the risk reward could have been, but it did fizzle out and chop around. And then the next day was the day it started to grind higher. So I wouldn't write something like that off with ENSC. Everybody can see this 80 cent level, and now that it's gapping up into it, I don't like breakouts that gap over the breakout level. But if we can get a flat open from where it is here after hours, it'll still be up 60% or so come market open. But if I can get a slight little open below 80 cents, a re-break, then I might look to have a wider risk idea and then potentially scale into that trade on Friday. But I'd still do like this 80-cent breakout. And now that let me see what the PR is. No news. That's weird. Filing, maybe? That's very weird. Oh, okay. We've got filing from 6 hours ago. A 13G filing 6 hours ago would have been, let me think here, 7 o'clock my time. It's 1 o'clock is right at market close. Okay. We've got RA Capital. Number of shares owned, 1.4 million, 9.9%. So this is the reason why it's up, is this 13G. I don't really know why it made such a move, but people liked it, I guess. So that seems pretty fluffy to me. Doesn't seem like the best PR out there or best news out there. But chart-wise, I'll keep an eye on that 80-cent level into tomorrow. Foxo, massive move today. Gap up into prior resistance. I'd like to lean that for a short. We've got a huge top wick now. The close was up here in the 80s, so it'll be gapping down. So with a gap down, I'd like a shove towards red to green. And look to lean that trade. And then Elwis, multi-day runner, putting on radar. This is an app, Chinese pump. I don't know if it's a Chinese company, but the guys that are pumping it have pumped names in the past. So this will end in one daily candle. It's just a matter of when and not stepping in front of it. Let me just run through some of my FinViz scans. See what I'm missing. Those names that I had added here from the action today were just from price alerts that went off when I got back on desk. So I hadn't scanned through yet. From what I've got on there, like I've got plenty to trade tomorrow. I don't really know if I want any more on watch. You see there's like $1.2 trillion in market value added to the stock market today. 1.2 trillion. It was the biggest SPY day in like 2 years and the biggest day in reaction to an election. Craziness. Yeah, PLTR, but that one's up on earnings. You might get like a Thursday to Friday trade on this. I hate shorting earnings winners. I'm red overall shorting earnings winners. I started categorizing my multi-day runners. First red day overextension shorts. Trying to figure out why certain ones I lose on. And when they're running on an earnings catalyst, I lose more times than not. So I don't love it, but I'm going to have FOMO not watching it. That's my dilemma. Little multi-day breakout there through the 30s. How does that look intraday? Ew, ugly. But yeah, that Palantir, like, that's something Nate would be like gawking at A plus type trade. If it gaps to 60, yeah. If that gaps to 60, I think I'd be willing to take a loss on it too. Lift. Nice little move there. No way, it's at 58 already. Sometimes I do. I don't have my thing on my phone on me. Sometimes I do look at Interactive Brokers, like I was looking at it last night for DJT to see where it was gapping. Nice B fly, another day. Nice move on that swing idea. BGC, little multi-day run, Elwes multi-day run, DXYZ, day one, yeah, former runner. Excuse me. Mara, cleanest daily chart for potential long on the crypto basket. Yeah, I doubt I play these miners. No real interest in them. Mara, Riot, Class, Coin, I think is probably the nicest daily out of the crypto names. Can had a little move there. NAK. There's a bunch of them. But I doubt I play that sector. They're just. I'd much rather short a parabolic than try to buy these things. They used to work a lot better back before they were so crowded. Witter, WTTR. What's this daily doing? Wow. Look at that. Talk about a buyer in the tape. Damn. Seems like a lot of people nailed this DJT pre-market. I figured it was going to gap, but like gap and sell the news, but trying to short that move pre-market, you never know how high it's going to go before the thesis plays out. But okay, I got distracted. I saw Lucas selling Charter. He was posting his charts, and Coin. He was posting his charts. So I was just looking at them, and then I saw a few other things. That's how Twitter gets you. Okay, keep moving down here. My percent gainers scans are so long right now. Everything is up. Craziness. Like DATS is still up 17% here at close. Even more, actually. It closed at 220s. Any shove on this thing, I think, is a good op to the short side. SGMO did re-break out today. Damn it, that was on the watch list. It must have got deleted off about it this morning, and the ticker wasn't on my list. It must have got knocked off somehow. But I was looking weak opens versus $2. Prior resistance to become support. Got that flush. Right into over under $2. 2 minute probably shows it better. I might have got stopped out here. Right through there. But VWAP reclaim. Higher lows. Damn, that sucks. Oh well. Man. 125 names on this scan. Usually I get like 30 or 40 on each of these scans. I got 120 right now. My brother was asking me yesterday how he can start investing longer term stuff, just passively with some extra income. And he's starting smaller. Not like he's got crazy money to just throw in all willy-nilly, but some smaller money, and he was asking, where to put it. I was like, we could go into like an S&P 500 ETF, something like SPY. He's like, what? That thing's like $600 per share. He's like, what about something cheaper? I'm like, we go like QQQ. It's $100 cheaper. What? It's $500. It's like, you go to the Russell. What? That's $200. Like, what about something cheaper? So I was like, well, you could short fund tomorrow. It's giving all these ideas. And some other stuff, like Nike, for example, has just been fading off like forever. Since COVID, it went on a tear, and then now it's just like been ripped apart. And he's like, well, what happens if Nike goes out of business? I was like, well, then you lose all the money you put in. It's like, you lose all of it? I was like, oh yeah, it goes to zero. You lose all your money. He's like, how do you leave the computer with all your money invested? He was like just completely flabbergasted. that because like all of my trading profits and stuff I throw into a long-term account, and I just slowly invest it, collect dividends, and reinvest it myself, and it works good. But the thought to him was mind-boggling. It made me laugh. What? You mean you can lose it all? Yeah, that's the risk. A lot of friends and family now wanting to get involved in the markets again. So probably a case where in the near term, don't know what happens longer term, but in the near term, probably worth being a bit more long bias on a bunch of these cheaper names because, like my brother, he doesn't want to be buying $600 stocks. But when something's $5, $10, and they can buy a few shares, um, probably worth being a bit more proactive on the covers and a bit more aggressive to the long side. I would say so until that sentiment starts to shift again. The pendulum swings back in the other direction. Oh man, even my faders list, 149. Wow. So on a day like today, you've got the market's SPY's up 2.4%, and Apple is down, which is surprising. SPY steady highs, Nvidia steady highs. Apple is down, so that's notable. And then with like my faders list, stuff that's down on the day and has been down in recent days, these are all now relative weakness names when the market is strong. So when the market does pull back, these tend to pull back harder. So if I can find some daily chart setups in this list that make sense. Wow, PAX, that thing's getting smoked. Look at that daily. Holy smokes. 43 to 22, sideways day, back down to 16. Wow. TVGN, quiet fader, continuing on its lows. I wonder if this gets a bounce back to like 220. Good Gevo bounce. Did a little bit. Right there. I don't know, TVGN's just been speeding up now. Looks like it should have a relief bounce, but I don't need that in my life, whatever. Let's focus on the DJTs and not try to nickel and dime trades like that. iHeartMedia. What's the ATR on something like that? Not a whole lot, but you've got this little trend test today. If this takes out today's lows, could be a quiet fader kind of setup. You probably get like a 20-cent trade out of it. It wouldn't be anything crazy. But those quiet ones, if you're in account building mode, something like the same kind of thing as GNPX, where you can put the trade on and just let it work and collect like 40, 50 cents. I won't complain. Alrighty, last scan here. Last scan. Then I can touch on a few more things. I briefly went through my watches anyways, but Fannie Mae, says Andrew. I did see that. I don't have OTC permissions on DAS, so I can't trade them over at Centerpoint. They don't allow it in Canada. But if I do go into my Interactive Brokers account, I can trade it. It was. Let me see. Someone had. I can't remember. I don't know why it was related, but someone had told me why it was related to it. But it was something to, yeah, something to do with the election. I can't remember exactly what it was. Let me pull up the stock charts. Fannie Mae. Yeah, I mean, that's a nice look. Like a rebreak of 2. Looks good. And same kind of thing. FMCC, Freddie Mac actually did break out today through 175. It tapped to 180 with the exact say they move in tandem. But that kind of daily chart would interest me. I don't really trade over at Interactive Brokers anymore. That's where I keep my investment accounts. So I don't have a lot of free cash over there. I typically just reinvest it once I get dividend payments and stuff. Most of my day trading capital is in Centerpoint. So it's probably like if the thing goes, $2, $3, $4, then okay, I'll wire some money in there and take like a short trade. But the long setup isn't like A++ for me where I feel like I need to trade it. Yes, I do see the merit in it, but I also see it failing given how fast it's gotten there so quick, short period of time. So nothing I'm chomping at the bit at over there, but so let me see. Q said main focus is Palantir and DJT tomorrow. He traded DJT. Oh no, his watches are DJT, Lumen, Mara, and Palantir. Lumen was tapping up near its daily highs. It broke out today. Nice. So glitching. We're glitching. Yeah, that's a nice little breakout there through the 780s. I didn't have much of an eye on it, but nice move. You get that pullback, join that opening range highs through 760, close enough to 780. You'd have to risk 60 cents a share on a 760 entry. So from 760 to make it worth it, get like a 2-to-1. Have to make $1.20. Would be up there in the 880 range. Would be a 2-to-1 trade up here, so not bad. Nice move. Probably a case where I think is this one up on earnings as well? Was that earnings last night? Yeah, earnings last night. So this is one of those ones where it's up on earnings, so I don't really like shorting the overextension. But given that it just broken out today, any sort of weak opens, maybe towards 850, a weak open and stabilize, something like SGMO action where you get a weak open, kind of chop around and then join that trend once it firms. Don't hate that idea. Eric bashes it. He bashes everything. What did he say today? It was something like DJT sub 25 by Friday. Yeah, it is a piece of garbage. I mean, I was shorting it on these days too. It was just $1 name and it's up at $9, but I don't know. If it keeps going up, if price keeps proving that it wants to go higher, then sure, it could be a piece of trash, but I'm not going to fight it. I join the trend. If everybody thinks it's trash and it keeps holding up, then there's just more room for a squeeze. But anyways, DJT and Fun. DJT, Fun, and DATS. I'd put them all in the same basket for higher the better tomorrow. If these things open green, great. If we open red, get any sort of morning strength, I'm going to look to join that trend for lower. DJT, some conviction would start to come in once this thing is sub 29. I'll throw a line on there just to remind me. But once that's sub 29, I think it fizzles all the way back. Fun, same kind of thing. Once this is sub 6, I think this fizzles all the way back. Let's draw a line there. But all of these, higher the better, and failed follow through. GNPX, no real plan there. VSTE, lower the better, into anywhere between this 2 to 270 range. I like for a first green day back into the 4s. Speeple, possible squeezer here setting up. It's just keeping shorts in. Hasn't let them out in 3 days. So if I can get a trend break and prior day's highs start to firm, look for that 180 breakout, big picture, and join that trend. ENSC, up on a filing. Don't love the catalyst, but if I can get a open just below 80 cents and then a rebreak out of 80, history of one and dones, so I would be selling into that 10:30 to 11 a.m. if I got long in the morning, and then would look for a re-entry late day if it started to prove itself and re-break late day. Foxo, higher the better, failed follow through, pops into red to green for that overextended gap down, and Elwis just going to keep tabs on this with it extending itself, running up into prior resistance. This is going to have an ugly candle one of these days once the pumpers walk, and likely fades back to where it came from. So, looks like it should be a busy day tomorrow. We'll see how stuff sets up. I got a bit too much on watch, so hopefully some stuff gaps in directions that I'm not prepared for, and then I don't have to watch them, and I can narrow it down to 2 to 3 by market open. So, anyways, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you guys for stopping by. As always, get in where you fit in, make some memories, and I'll see you guys in the room. Trade them well.